Ole, 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 ole. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Onotria One Country Cuisine here in Costa Mesa, California. Today, it's a somber day for one hand, but it's really about celebrating life of people, a person, a guy who spent the most of his life, or at least most of his adult life, to promote and appreciate an area of the world, especially Italy, Piedmont, and let the world know about his story, about the land where he come from, about the thing that he was passionate about it. Also, the story of his family, the story of continuity, and in the meantime, create a wonderful numbers of wines that the world has enjoyed over a period of time. We are talking about a very wonderful man, a big smile with a large personality, but kind of quiet at the same time. I met Pio Boffa many, many years ago on some of our Vinitaly and also the wine tour that the Tre Bicchieri has done. Even prior to that, to the best 100 wine by Wine Spectators. And so we have crossed each other many times. I have enjoyed his wine and sell, represent his wine many times. Still do. In fact, before I got the news that he passed last week, I was already working on promoting one of what I think is one of the best projects of a Piedmont, which is bringing back the Nebbiolo in the natural form. Because some of you people know, a lot of people Piedmont is known around the world for Barolo and Barbaresco. Fantastic wine, a legendary wine. In some cases, probably some of the most favorable wine. In fact, I call them in so many ways, especially the Barolo, recession-proof wine, because there's always customers that love the wine in a way which it makes very viable, very wonderfully sold across the board. Now, this is less about Barolo or even less about Nebbiolo and more about the person and the territory. In order to know someone, you got to get to know a little bit where they're from. And then you kind of assess their personality, their sense of humor, their sarcasm, or the irony, whatever the things, the ingredients that make the recipe of their life successful. And Pio is, in so many ways, a product of his environment, the product of his territory. We usually, through those words around the terroir, like everybody knows what that means. Terroir, it's a word that really describes a much more comprehensive part of some areas. It's not about just the dirt. It's not about the plants. It's not about just the soil. It's about everything. It's about the air. It's about the weather conditions, the year-round kind of temperature, but more importantly, also the environment, the people that live there. In this day and age, there's a lot of to be said about. I know, I wanna walk away from distinctively want to talk about climate change. Every time you have a conversation about those things, there's a bunch of worshippers. They come in at you like, oh, you're a denier, you're this. Like, come on, people, let's have a natural conversations. We've been around this planet for quite some times. I have seen a lot of things. I spend the most of my life in farming. So let's just skip that subject all together. We'll get to another day when I am in a different mood. But today is about not eulogize, but celebrating life as we know it. We all come in through this world with a simple expectation to live. But we all know at some point in time there's going to be an ending to our voyage. And everyone exits in certain ways, sometimes dramatically, sometimes naturally, and sometimes less favorable, but we all do. So to me, the arrival of the ending of someone's life is not as a shock or frightening or complicated to me. It's more about the life that we live and the life that someone lives and what lives behind that makes a lot of difference. So we here on earth for a purpose. Everyone thinks they know the answers to that one. Some don't. And I think the fact that we know that we're here for a purpose, it makes our life more rich, more interesting, more exciting. And so when you think about a winery, a winemaking, what are you thinking? I think in a micro, just someone who tried to feed his family, someone who's tried to take care of the land. But in a large picture, I look at someone who, at some point in time, has made big difference in many people's life, not just their family. The whole habitat, the whole biodiversity that surrounds a winery, a winemaking, a wine bottles, a wine label is so immense and so far-reaching that sometimes we have to take a pause to understand what does that means. A bottle of wine is, in himself, is just an object. But what's in that bottle that inspires so much admiration, love, conversations, program, literature, and so on and so on. But why? Because there is a story there. There is a life of family there. There is a life of many family there. There is a legacy of a land and people. So Pio, in his own simplicity, want to make or carry on what his great-grandfather started and end up to make the wine, the brand, something very iconic and very special, among some of the best in the world. But more important that if you met the man or know the man a little bit, and if you don't, you will understand that it takes a lot of commitment, passion. It takes a lot of sacrifice to reach out so many people around the world. That's what he was doing every day. He was traveling like endlessly. And Gaia did the same. For less extent, Giacosa, his daughter, did most of them. But all what they did is they were ambassador for an area that in his own right was already popular, but for other reasons, like the Fiat. So they wanted this wonderful product to find as many people that will love just like they did. And in doing so, they export the culture. They export way of living, a passion for simple things. They are important in his own ways, but not essential if you think. And that requires incredible commitment to the subject matter because you are in a world of a competition. You are in a place where so many people live. They're wine from everywhere in the world. Why Nebbiolo? Why Piedmont? So happened that it has such a beautiful heritage, such a rich culture, such a sexy connotation, because you're talking about Alba, we're talking about white truffle. And you cannot talk about white truffle without talking about Nebbiolo. So, but how that all happened? It's a symbiotic? No, it's actually the work of hard pushing believers like Pio. And many others, because that's one man. We are talking about him. He passed away age 66. Young. I'm 63. That's very young. And look in the mirror, I'm thinking, there's so much life in front of us. There's so much more to do. There's so much more to give, so much more to talk about. But in his case, he has done already a lot because he has left behind a legacy. Something that we all try to achieve in some either small or big way. You know, people jump on the internet and jump on Facebook and some of the other platform and bash people that have achieved the greatness in life, whether you like them or not. Many people might don't agree with Barack Obama or Donald Trump, but they are a legacy people. They are in history. You can't change that history. It's done. They achieved something that only 46 people have done so far. You might like, don't like Biden. It doesn't matter. He already has written history. So it don't have to be that big, don't have to be that large to make a difference. Even small little legacies are far more important to so many people. And so for that purpose only, it's important that we dedicate ourselves to things that we believe, that we actually care for and care about. And so I don't want to spend too much time because I'm sure many things will be written about him. I just want to acknowledge the fact that I met a man who believed profoundly in their own product, in their own territory, in his own way of life, and he wanted the world to understand and share it. And so for that reason, we are better off. We are rich for it. You know, Pio Cesare, you can see the bottle here. Pio Cesare is an iconic wine in the Piedmont region and around the world. They started as a negociant. So basically they used to buy grapes and buy wine from other people and then turn into this beautiful winery that is so well loved and known around the world. But that is because Pio believed in it. Pio also took the courage to come to America, work for Robert Mondavi, to understand their marketing strategy, their mythology. You know, why America so young and so successful? Robert Mondavi was one of the father of a modern American winemaking and wine industry. I mean, actually, it turned into an industry. And that is because smart people always are willing to learn from other people. Doesn't matter how successful they are. Doesn't matter how old and legendary their brand is. There's always something to be learned. That, to me, is the lesson that I like to communicate with the people out there in the world of wine, in the world of any profession, whether it's cooking, whether it's technology. We always are ready to learn more. If we are willing to listen, if we are willing to hear the lessons that are in front of our very eyes or through the book of history, there's always room to improve. There's always room to learn. And for that reason, today, even though we are acknowledging the fact that a great friend and person left us, but only the physical appearance left us. What's left behind is actually a very rich legacy and a fantastic winery that will go on for years to come and produce beautiful wines. And tonight and last night, we were focused on 2016 Nebbiolo, which I think is one of personal favorite of mine because I believe that wine should be drink every day in a very moderate amount with friends and family, with the food. And it's very nice to have a top producer producing a wine that is affordable and so pleasant, easy to love every day, and become of your ordinary wines in extraordinary productions. That, to me, it's a testament for someone who understood that wine was, it is, the beverage of the everyday people. Yes, he makes some of the most amazing single vineyards, pricey for sure, and stunning wine for sure, but they have the understanding that there's also a number of people every day they'll enjoy a good glass of wine, and producing a wine for the everyday drinking, it's essential to maintain the brand alive in the eyes and mind of the consumer. That, to me, it's an understanding what a marketplace is all about. So for that, I want to salute with a wonderful, warm, and respectful salute to the Boffa family, his daughter, and the nephews that I had the pleasure to meet. And more importantly, to all the wine family of the Piedmont around the world that so diligently and caring are always ready to step up and produce fantastic product for our own enjoyment. For that, I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. This is Massimo Navarrete, chef, owner of Onoche Wine Country Cuisine here in Costa Mesa, California.